Guys, good morning from Lviv. The first days of spring arrived and the snow is melting finally after 2 weeks in Lviv, also called the Paris of Eastern Europe or Little Krakow, and I'm gonna tell you later why it's true. So Lviv, a very beautiful city, but I wasn't able to do any vlogs or even walk around the city because Ukraine was hit by the heaviest snowstorm since 10 years. And that's actually rule number 2 when it comes to vlogging. Do not vlog when it's slippery outside. Rule number 1, always save your footage. And I actually didn't do it after Cappadocia. So the last day in Cappadocia, I lost my SD card in the desert somewhere in Cappadocia. But a really big thank you to Ediabe. He showed us around Cappadocia for 3 days and we really had a great time. And I promised him to be back maybe this year or maybe next year. And right now I'm in the Armenian Quarter, which is the oldest part of town. And the tour guide behind me is probably going to say the same, just in Ukrainian, which I unfortunately cannot speak. But I do understand a little bit because Ukrainian is more close to Polish than to Russian. And yes, so the Armenian Quarter is 800 years old. The Armenians left their home country because of the Mongol Tartar invasion, and right in front of me is also an 800-year-old sculpture made out of wood. Unfortunately, I can't enter the courtyard. And so the Armenians left their home country for Galicia, and Lviv used to be Galicia for 100 years. And in 1349 the Polish took over for most of the time until 77 when the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth Dobry dzień. Dobry dzień. So when the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth started to collapse, before I'm going to show you a little bit more of the old town. I'm still in the Armenian Quarter, and I really need to tell you that the Ukrainian motto is "It's 5 o'clock somewhere." I have never seen such a cool bar scene anywhere else. And compared to other cities, Lviv is quite small. I think it's the 7th largest city in Ukraine, with over 700,000 inhabitants. This place is a very cool spot when it comes to culture and drinking a lot of beer, and it is a very famous Instagram spot.
Добрий день.
Добрий день. What a good coffee, probably the best coffee I've ever had. And they roast their beans since 1649. And I'm in the heart of Lviv, the most beautiful place, which is the Rynok in Ukrainian, the market square. And there are many historic buildings. One of them is right over there, which was built by Mr. Konstantin Korniak, a Greek merchant who moved to Lviv because he fell in love with the city, and he built this huge estate. After his death, the Polish king Sobieski took over the building and made it to his residence. One of a few, or one of many residences here in this part of Europe. But this one was actually one of his favorite. So underneath the building you have these old cellars, and he created a bank of very old, expensive and delicious alcoholic beverages that you can still drink now. Lviv really is a melting pot. First the Armenians, then the Polish, then the Jews. And right after the fall of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in the end of the 18th century, which was the largest country in Europe, by the way, the Austrians took over the city, and more Germans and Austrians came to the city and stayed here for 150 years. After Lviv became Polish again till the Second World War. So really a melting pot. And what's probably the best thing that keeps the cultures connected, it's vodka, Wodka, the world's first factory for mass production of vodka in the 18th century was established in Lviv. And Baczewski vodka is known around the world and still not missed on parties and in noble restaurants. Well, during their golden age, the Baczewski family received not only prizes for their very good vodka, but also for the very good marketing. So Berlin, New York, Moscow, they all wanted that Baczewski stuff. And unfortunately, after the Second World War, the production was relocated to Vienna. All vodka production in Poland during the time was nationalized, since the country became a puppet of the Soviet Union. Dobry dzień. Okej, dziękuję bardzo.
Można po polsku.
Tak, dokładnie. A jak piękne.
A to jest nasza taka oranżereja.
Bardzo piękne.
Jest takie naливкові зали.
Aha.
Jest jeszcze drugi power. Jest do góry jeszcze jest.
No. Dobry. Ale jak piękne.
Tam jest zale.
Wow. Tak duże.
Duży jest, tak. То і кожний зал, і зали по-іному цей. Тобто наші наливки. Інне є. Ten сходи то ми реставрували. От дещо все доробив, тут все було знищене, але от оригінал. Там у Львові є там завод Baczewski, який був. Tak.
Ale to w Austrii, tak? To nie było w Lwowie?
У Львові.
A to było w
У
Lwowie.
Львові, так і
Ага.
завод, так.
Не приходиш, що таке. Всім давай.
Svoboda Avenue with McDonald's and American grocery stores, Domino's Pizza. What a beautiful Svoboda Avenue. Svoboda means freedom in Russian, Ukrainian. And right behind me is the Opera of Lviv. And the architect, the Polish architect Zygmunt Gorgolewski, was also the designer of the Kaiser Wilhelm Bridge in Berlin and many art museums and galleries in Dresden. And he also had other projects in other major cities in Europe. But the opera was his very last project. So he built the opera on the Poltva River. And 1 year after the opera got built, they realized that the opera is sinking a little bit. So he killed himself. But it never happened. The opera is still standing here. So am I on the Poltva River. After the long weekend, there's probably nothing better than going to the sauna and sweating everything out. And usually in Lviv you are very far away from the Soviet brutalism architecture. But if you take a tram, 20 minutes later you arrive in this neighborhood, which is probably the most Soviet thing I've ever seen. Dobry dzień. There's probably nothing better than eating sausage in front of the world's greatest mall, which is located in Lviv.